Hey folks, Joe Valley here. Welcome to another episode of the Quiet Light Podcast. In today's episode, we're talking to Alan Silvestri from Growth Gorilla. His company really helps B2B SaaS companies grow their conversion through content and link building and proper link building and things of this nature. And I was hesitant to have him on because it's B2B SaaS and not all of you are B2B SaaS. So we really focused, though, on the fact that all of his tips and tactics apply across the board, whether you own a content site, an agency, I guess that would be B2B, but it's not SaaS, or an e-commerce business. Whatever it might be, this process for developing content and ranking makes sense for all of you across the board. So listen into it. There's going to be some nuggets and tips that you can pull out of this if you're doing your own SaaS promotion. I already, questioned him on a few things for Quiet Light's content development because we do this all the time. You all get newsletters from us every week, updates. We post content all the time. And some of his tips and suggestions are going to go right to our content team and CMO for improved rankings on our side as well. So here we go. Take a listen. Alan, welcome to the Quiet Light Podcast. How are you?
Hey, Joe, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Can you give the folks listening and watching a little bit of background on yourself and what you do at Growth Gorilla?
Yeah, so I'm the founder at Growth Gorilla. We are a B2B SaaS content promotion agency, and we specialize in using strategic link building, that's what we call it, to essentially get the content that's sitting on page 2 and page 3 on Google and try to push it onto page 1. To basically get more traffic, but at the end of the day, more signups for the clients.
Does it only apply to SaaS companies or B2B SaaS companies? Or in the case of Quiet Light, we've got, I want to say, 1,000 articles at this point, and we've got an entire team working on developing new content. There's lots of link building, and we're always trying to get and I'm not in the marketing department, but it's page rank, I think, and we're always trying to get that up there as much as possible. Will some of these content concepts apply to a company like Quiet Light?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think. We're B2B, but not SaaS necessarily.
Yeah, we decided to focus on working with SaaS mainly because we noticed that SaaS companies are among the companies that do content marketing the most, and they do it well, right? There's a lot of SaaS companies that have a content production team that specialize in doing all sorts of content for all the 3 stages of the funnel. And this is also what we like to see, right? That the content is following the funnel that the customers might have to go through. Because what we want to do with the link building and the promotion that we do is at the end of the day to push pages higher that are targeting specific keywords that cover the whole 3 stages of the funnel. So we noticed that a lot of e-commerce, for example, they don't do a lot of content because the sales process is more direct, right? So they might have thousands of pages, but most of them is just like product pages. SaaS companies do a lot of content. Some other companies where we've been working well is a couple of affiliate websites, but really good high quality authority websites. And so, yeah, anybody that's doing a long form, informational, high quality content typically is a good client for us.
And the link building that you're talking about, is it, can you get into that a little bit? Because it feels to somebody that's been out of it for a long time, that I know that's just one arm of the search engine process. And I don't know how much weight it carries anymore. You tell me about that.
Yeah. So there's a good article by Ahrefs. So Ahrefs is one of the main SEO backlink analysis tools out there. So they did this research where essentially came out that 91% of the content that was published didn't get any traffic from Google whatsoever. And the 3 main reasons for this, the number 1 reason was because the content didn't have any backlinks. So this is the number 1 reason.
Are these internal or external? Or
yeah, this is backlinks from sites pointing to the client side, right? So external backlinks coming into your site. You can optimize all you want with internal links, but if you're not getting the SEO juice from other websites, that's not going to do a lot for you.
How do you do that? If you write an article and it's a brand new article, do you go out to the other sites and say, hey, can you link to this article?
Technically, yes. It's unfortunately not as easy, right? So number 1, the article should be stellar quality. it should have a unique angle that you can use to reach out to specific people, right? So we do a lot of research. We find those pages where it actually makes sense for them to link to our page, because maybe the article that we have is adding some unique point of view. Maybe it's expanding on the topic. Maybe we have some like new data points that they can use, right, to mention inside their article. So it really have to be higher quality than everything else that's out there, basically. So this is very difficult to do.
In our situation, we'll look at keywords that are most searched and what we want to rank on. And say, okay, we're in top of page 2, and we write more content with that keyword, as I understand it. And I don't think we go to outside firms and have them link to the article. You're saying in order to get to that 9% that actually rank, we should be taking that article and going out to outside websites and saying, hey, this applies to you. Can you link to this article?
So it really depends on the competition for the particular keywords that you're trying to rank for, right? So if you write an article that's on a keyword that doesn't have any other people linking between themselves, then you might as well just rank with the article itself. If it's a super easy keyword, you can just optimize the on page, so the keyword in the title, those kinds of things, right?
Well, and all the things you want to rank for are generally pretty competitive, I think.
Yeah, nowadays, yes. Especially the ones that can bring you money, those will be competitive. So this is why it's a lot of people that don't think about, or they don't have the time, they don't have the resources, or they don't know how to do it. And so, yeah, this is why it's quite fundamental. The 3 main problems that clients that come to us typically have is, number 1, they don't know which pages they need to promote to be able to get more traffic and signups. Because you can work on link building on all sorts of pages, but you will never be able to get the results that you want if you promote the wrong pages, right? There's a lot of people that focus on building backlinks to pages that maybe have a ton of search volume, but that search volume doesn't have buyer intent. So that's not gonna bring in any signups for you. So you can rank number 1 with hundreds of thousands of searches, but the article is talking about funny memes, that's not gonna bring any business to your company. The second problem that they have is they don't know the types of backlinks that they need to acquire to be able to increase that rankings for the specific keyword. And number 3, they don't have the time, the team, the resources, or they don't know how to do it. So these are the 3.
Let's talk about number 2, the types of backlinks that you want to acquire. How do you go about that process, determining that?
Yeah, so type of backlinks is fundamentally 3 different key areas, right? So number 1 is how many backlinks and how fast you need those backlinks. To determine that, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can have a look first off at the average for the top 10 ranking pages. How many backlinks do those pages have already, on average?
And do you just do that manually? You look at them and you count them?
Yeah, you can do that manually for sure. We do have a kind of a tool that does this for us. We have scripts and stuff, so we can build that slightly faster. But you can do this just manually. It's quite simple. You don't have to have the exact average, right? So if you look at the top 10 results in Ahrefs, you'll see the referring domains. That's what you want to specifically look at. And you can kind of get a feel for how they're doing. So if there's a page that has 200, and then maybe there's another page that has 5, and your page has 20, then you know that you should do more to try and get closer to the other guys.
And how important are those, the quality of those referring domains?
That's very important. So that was my second step, essentially. Once you know how many links and how fast, because you can also see how many new backlinks each of those pages are building every month. Once you know how many you need to close the gap, then you need to focus on the quality. That's the second aspect. To determine the link quality, you can do a couple of things. The first thing that you should do is to remove the initial junk, right? So that you have, so that you can focus the time that you have on just doing the manual check on the absolute best website. You can use the SEO metrics like domain rating. That's the strength of for a website in terms of its backlink profile. So that's the Ahrefs metrics. It's kind of similar to domain authority from Moz. That's another tool. So you can use that. For example, we don't want to get any backlinks that have domain rating lower than 20, because that's typically either very new sites or a very poor quality. Okay.
And the way to determine those backlinks quality or rankings is with Ahrefs, or is there another tool you use?
Yeah, typically most people just use Ahrefs. You can put the site in there and it shows you all the metrics. The second metric that we want to look at is the traffic from to the domain. So we want to know how much traffic the specific website is getting to the whole domain, right? We typically look at traffic that's higher than 1,000 or 5,000, depending on how strict we want to be. So these are the main domain level metrics, right? So we're talking about the whole site. That said, if you think about it, the link that you're going to get is going to come from a specific like individual page, so specific URL from that site. So you also want to have a look at the page level metrics. So page level metrics, similar to DR, is UR. That's the strength of the specific URL in terms of the backlinks profile that it has. But you can also look at the traffic that the specific page has. Because the good thing that's about getting a link from a page with traffic is that you can also get some referral traffic. So some people that basically are reading the article, they click on your link and they get to your page, right? So it's double benefit. You get the SEO juice, so you can rank higher, but you also get the traffic and people coming directly to the page. So those are the two main things: the domain level metrics, domain rating and traffic to the domain, but also page level metrics, so a URL rating and traffic to the page. Then there's a couple of other things, more technical, like a topical relevancy. So you really want to get backlinks from pages that are relevant to your topic, because Google nowadays is smart enough to know that a link from a page that's talking about like an hair salon that's going to a SaaS company that's not relevant, it's not going to do anything for the page. So you want links from pages that are talking about similar topics that are correlated to your topic. And that's defined by specifically the anchor text. So the text that's being used to link to your page from the other page. So if you want to kind of like do the best possible jobs, you might be able to control the anchor text. So you can go to the blogger and ask them, can you use this text to link to my page, right? That's going to be more specific. Most of the times, they're not going to let you do that. So you can just take whatever they use. And typically, that's actually a better strategy because it looks more natural, right? Because otherwise, everybody would just use the main target keyword. And actually, that's quite can have negative effect on the SEO.
Interesting. Hey, it's with what's going on with ChatGTP right now, and a lot of people I've heard are waking up every day and putting in some information to have it write a new article for their website and publishing it. I've heard a variety of different thoughts on that. I'm just curious about yours in terms of with Google being smart enough to determine bad links that are not relevant. Have they figured out, is there an algorithm there to figure out that it's written by a bot or AI instead of a human?
So I think they're definitely working on something. I don't know whether it's already out there and working already, but it's definitely like there. Specifically, if you think about that, Google has been using AI for ages to predict the queries. Like if you start typing a keyword in Google, then it shows you a bunch of different like related things that you might be able or that you might want to look for. So that's Google AI kind of working, right? So I'm pretty sure that, in the near future, they will have something in place to be able to spot content that's written by AI. So I would definitely not recommend people to do that. What you can do is to use AI to like shortcut some of the writing process, maybe, right? So I've been using ChatGPT mainly as an assistant in writing, but also in strategizing and a few other things. So you can tell it, give me like a few topic ideas that I should be writing about like this main umbrella topic. So then you can expand on those. You can use it also to get like title variations. That's really good. So you can put in your title, or you can say, this is my article that's about this topic, and I will be covering these 5 different points. Can you give me 10 different title variations that are good for people to click on Google? And that's going to work very well. Typically that works very well. We also use it, for example, when we reach out to people to ask for link placements in existing content. We might use ChatGPT to come up with an additional sentence or an additional snippet of text that we can send to the blogger to include with our link. That's just faster. And So yeah, if you use ChatGPT to write just a individual sentence or a short paragraph, that's not going to do anything to the article. So yeah, there's a couple of very good use cases for people to do that.
I didn't want to go on too much of a tangent there. I'm sure we could, though. It sounds like you're using it in what you do and in your position. So a lot of other folks should be using it as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the monetization. I find with straight up content sites, the monetization is it's all available. It's there, but a lot it applies in different ways to different sites. With monetization of your clients, B2B SaaS in particular, is it all about driving traffic? You talked about the 3 levels of the funnel to a sign up page.
Yeah, it depends on how the client's product work. Typically, is driving traffic to a sign up page or a demo kind of booking page, or just like straight up sign up to the software. So yeah, some clients are going to have a free trial, some others are going to just have a paid straight away, some other have a demo. It really depends on the size of the company and what the sales process is. But yeah, that's mostly what we do. Part of our strategy is essentially, it's also to help them and to help us come up with the absolute best possible pages that we can target and to work on. We also get the client input from those pages. So we do our whole analysis in terms of like competition, rankability, linkability, all of those kind of SEO things. But then we want to know from the clients which pages that we have shortlisted they think have the most business potential, because that's something that only the clients know typically. So we ask them if they can provide us with some conversion data. Maybe they have Google Analytics data of which pages have generated the most signups. So we can put that into the spreadsheet where we're doing our analysis, and that's going to help us prioritize and pick the best possible pages. Because a lot of people, as I said before, they just focus on building links to pages that maybe, yes, they are linkable. Maybe it's like a linkable asset, a data study of whatever, like in their niche. They can get 10 really good high quality backlinks to that page, and that's going to do quite well for their SEO, for the overall domain rating, but that's not going to bring in much sales. So we want to focus mostly on promoting the pages that actually have some business potential, so that the clients can see some ROI faster from.
And who is your typical client that you work with?
Yeah, our typical clients is so yeah, B2B SaaS with a team that's quite small, between like maybe 10 and 50 people.
Can you define B2B SaaS a little bit more for me, please?
Yeah, so it's all those software companies. Yeah, we work with a lot of SaaS in the marketing space as well, financial space. So yeah, those software companies that are selling a software from one business to another, essentially B2B,
like an inventory management SaaS tool, or
e-commerce kind of like checkout platform, or a B2B sales prospecting tool that shows you the email of the person that you want to reach out to. We had another one that was a calculator site, for example. We had another one that's a course. It's an online course platform. So yeah, like literally all sorts of different verticals within the SaaS space. We like B2B more because for some reason, B2B do a lot more with content, same as I said before, compared to e-commerce, maybe, compared to B2C. But yeah, that's it mainly. We typically work directly with either the marketing manager or the director of growth. So they have a small marketing team that's doing the content strategy, and they're doing a really good job at that maybe, but they don't have the extra support to actually take their content and get the word out. So this is where we come in. So yeah, 10 to 50 people, typically between 1 and 10 million revenue per year. That's what we look at.
And what kind of time frame should people think about in terms of getting a bump in both traffic and close to conversion rates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends a lot on the situation when we start, right? So if we start with a company that has a domain rating of 20, that's going to take way longer compared to another company that maybe already has a domain rating of 60, right? Because the domain is already established. They already have a lot of backlinks, traffic, and pages ranking. We typically want to work with clients that already have maybe 50 pages ranking between the bottom of page 1 and page 3, right? So then we have a good kind of like batch of pages and content that's already doing quite well, but maybe with just a couple of extra backlinks, it's gonna go into page 1. So in terms of time frame, that said, it's typically not less than 3 months for an established company to see some results, and it can go all the way to like 6-12 months for a newer company. We've been able, with a company that was quite established already, we doubled the traffic in the first 3 months that they worked with us. But yeah, they had a really good brand. They were already established in terms of like the backlink profile, so that helps a lot. So yeah,
what did you do to double their traffic? Was it on-page conversion tactics, or was it something else?
That was like exactly what I just talked about. So defining the best possible pages to be able to increase the traffic in the next 90 days. So we wanted to pick what we call the quick win pages. Those pages that are already ranking quite well, then maybe with just a couple of extra backlinks could shoot up into page 1. So we pick the best pages that also were able to bring them some revenue. Then number 2 is we identified the right type of links that we needed to acquire and how many of those. And then we just got to work with the campaigns and the whole kind of outreach process that we do.
And do you have a team that helps identify those links? And do you do that, I would think, with the owner of the company that you're working for, because they know their industry better than you do?
Yeah, definitely. We are 10 people ourselves, and we do have 3 different roles within the company, right? So there's myself. I still do most of the client marketing, sales, but some of the strategy as well. And then we have a director of strategy. She's the one that's responsible of getting started with what we call the roadmap, right? That's picking the best pages to work on. And we have a whole process for that. She does that together with the client at some point when we ask them for their input. So with our analysis, we know that these pages have some potential. We tell to the client, okay, can you come in and tell us now which of these 20 pages you think have the most potential? So we can rank them from 1 to 10, and then we're going to get to work on those 10, maybe 2/3 pages per month in the quarter.
This same process and methodology will work again for kind of all content related companies. It's just that your focus is B2B SaaS, because you can see, they don't do as good of a job as on page conversion.
Exactly. That's what you're doing. Yeah, it can work for anybody that's producing good quality content. The main reason, again, why we like SaaS, it's also because we have a few different campaign types that are specific for SaaS. So for example, we can get SaaS companies listed in all of those listicles. There are like the top 10 tools for this, top 10 tools for that, right? So that's a more of a SaaS unique specific thing. That's something, a campaign that we really like, that always works pretty well.
Did you say listicles?
Yeah, people call them listicles. It's basically articles that are lists, right?
For some reason, I went to testicles. So that's where my mind is.
No.
Not so good. All right. Well, this has been very helpful, Alan. I appreciate it. How do people learn more about what you do in your company and things like that?
Yeah. So people can find me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active, at Alan G Gorilla, or on our website, which is mygrowthgorilla.com.
mygrowthgorilla.com, or Alan G Gorilla on Twitter. Excellent. Alan, thanks for sharing your wisdom. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. It's been great.